He has a right to go to any court. He wrote to the former President Mugabe again about it. He has a right to write to the President Mnangagwa about it.
Right.
So to me, the social media is not a court. Social media will not give you the response you want in terms of what is going on. He's been doing that. He's a drug addict. We went before the courts here. It was in his passport. Okay, the magistrate asked him that, because if you're a drug addict, there is a stamp in your passport which shows you're under rehabilitation, and that's what was discovered. All this information was in the cross-examination. My lawyer then, Charles Chinyama, asked him, are you under drug rehabilitation? And he said yes. And that's where, at the end of the day, I rest my case. He has a right to go to anywhere else to say what he wants, but he's definitely talking to the wrong people. I've won elections despite him saying what he's saying. I am a person who is prepared to go before any court where there's injustice, and I'm waiting for the day.
All right. Mr. Mliswa, I have Paul Westwood on the line. I'd like to hear what he has to say to what you've just said, because as I said on this program, you have implicated a lot of people.
But you must also bring in, there's no point bringing Paul Westwood. Hamas Coach Banda was the other shareholder, was the shareholder, and I think it would be unfair, because the company had two shareholders. Ruvheneko, we must be honest. I'm gonna leave the studio. Hamas Coach Banda was the other shareholder. Why are you
leave the studio? Sir?
No, my point that why
in the same way that when I had Mr. Vute and he talked about you, I then
no. I think I don't want us. No. I want us to be fair. I bought my shares from Hamas Coach Banda, who you should be asking that did Mr. Mliswa buy these shares from you? This is an aggrieved party. I did not buy my shares from Westwood. He was 50%. I bought my shares from Hamas Coach Banda. Yes. And to me, if you're bringing him on board, I am leaving the studio because I will need Hamas Coach Banda to be able to also. So let's have a show where Banda will also be there to speak. Why are you speaking to one side?
Mr. Mliswa,
no, let's be fair.
With respect.
No, with respect. Be a journalist who
be a
journalist who is balanced.
Am I allowed to speak on my own
program? But to me, Paul Westwood is aggrieved. Okay, Hamas Coach Banda is the black man that I bought the 50% share. There were 50-50 in the company.
To fight with you.
But why are you speaking to just one shareholder? Why are you speaking to one shareholder?
Can I just say something? When Mr. Vute was in the very same chair you're in, and he made accusations about you, I tried to phone you. I tried to phone you. You then said, you know what? I'd rather come next week with the right to respond.
Don't be part of. Don't set me up. I will not speak to Paul Westwood. He's in a hospital. So why are we talking about him in hospital?
He's not in hospital.
He's gone around with that social media, so he wants people to feel sorry for him. He wants to earn money. He wants sympathy. Because he was not the owner of the company. There were two directors, two shareholders. He had 50% and Hamas Coach Banda had 50%. So where's Banda?
Would you like us to phone them both?
Yes.
Will that make you feel better?
And you must talk to them. You must ask Hamas Coach Banda if I grab the company.
All right, let's get him on the line as well, please. The number is on my phone.
Then we
Hello,
can talk.
good evening, Mr. Westwood.
I will not talk to Westwood, and I will leave them in the studio.
But you said you want them both on the line.
They must, first of all, get out of Hamas Coach Banda as well. Okay, let's be fair in the studio.
Wow.
Let's not play games of trying to set each other up.
Mliswa. All right.
There were two shareholders, one with 50%, the other with 50%.
You're not being ambushed, you're not being set up.
No, I did not come here for Paul Westwood to
treat you. Mr. Lumumba here right now saying I want my right to apply.
Listen
I have
to me.
emails
To me, I will not dance. I will not dance to the Lumumba thing. I will not dance, and don't destroy Capital. It has been doing a good job, but you've got Ace.
Mr. Mliswa, I will not have you on my program to try and yell.
And I will never come to your program again. I will not, because you're clearly trying to set me up. What is Ace doing? Where is Hamas Coach Banda? You know that Ace and I have
said I would like my right to apply.
I will not deal with that. I will not deal with that.
Mr. Mliswa, you need to stop acting like a victim. You are a guest in my studio.
And you must be fair. You must be fair.
Do you see how Mr. Westwood
is not on the line? I will not be set up. I will not be set up.
You said you don't want him
I
on the line.
have more important issues with another than being here. Capital has been doing a good job, but I don't have to be here ever in my life. If this is the journalism that you were taught, it must be balanced. Where is Hamas Coach Banda to speak on Natural Motors?
You said you don't want him on the line.
And then you're now having Ace Mlumba. And now you're having Ace Mlumba. What for? No, I'm not going to deal with Ace.
He has just written something on Facebook.
Listen, that's Facebook. That is Facebook.
You said you don't want to have you said you don't want to speak to Paul Westwood.
There have been, this is a project, this is an Ozis Butte project. project, and you seem to be part of the Ozis Bute project.
Now we're not going to do that.
You are part of it. I'm telling you that. You are part of the Ozis Bute project.
Mr. Westwood.
You are part of the Ozis Bute project with Ace Mulumba.
You said you don't want to speak to Mr. Westwood. He's not on the line. He's not on the line.
Is definitely not what I thought.
He is not on the line.
But why did you bring him on the line when the other shareholder was not there?
We don't have to talk.
No, but why did you bring? But why did you not bring the other shareholder?
Because
why did you go for Westwood?
Because he's the one who released the video.
Project.
And
this
it's
is a
current
project.
affairs.
You're not going to set me up.
You cannot constantly feel that people are trying to set you up.
You are totally.
Why would you feel that you're trying
people
to
know me. People know me. All this people know. I wrote to the president. This is you being captured. Capitalk has been captured by Ozis Bute.
Wow. We're going to take
Superman
a break. We are going to take a break
and Robert Vela. I totally agree with you.
We're going to take a break.
I'm not going to be part of captured institutions.
Welcome to Ruvheneko, the light on Capital 100.4 FM, leading the conversation.
And let it be known that this was not an ambush, it was not a setup. I would never do that, and I've never done that. You're a guest on my program, and I honor you for coming. And I'm sorry if in any way you felt that you have been set up. I would never do that. I've been a journalist for 10 years, and I would never do that.
I think let's be very clear. I was taken to court, very traumatized, arrested over 70 times because of Westwood working in cahoots with Chiwuri. I was acquitted by the courts. So if I'm acquitted by the courts, why do we continue? He has a right to appeal to any court. He's now done a civil with Mchadana, I've told you that. So to me, if the courts in this country, we must also respect the courts in this country and not allow social media to be a court. I was traumatized because of the influence with the Commissioner General then and the corruption which was going on. But I then decided to move on. He's been at it for so many years, so let's not have situations where seemingly I'm being set up. I have no time to do with ACE. I think I've told you that. 100%. There are more national issues to talk about than to deal with ACE. You must understand that.
That's fine. Honored and respected. Now, as we've got about 5 more minutes left of our program, we have our phone lines open, 0717 777 777. So keep your messages coming in on WhatsApp, as well as you can also call us live. We've got a call on the line. Good evening, you're live on Capitalk.
Temba Mliswa. How are you?
Go ahead.
Who's the caller?
Sorry, where are you calling us from?
It's Godfrey. He knows me. It's Godfrey. Honorable, I'm sorry about what happened. But also, Ruvheneko, look, when you're also bringing people back, we are also, this is a program. Let's try to be fair. I was listening to a program last week, and it was a fair program. But I thought I was more honorable Mliswa Spinduro, his other side of the story. Because it's not fair. Right now, 1 hour is gone, and is it anything? You guys, the two of you, are just fighting each other. You see? I think
that's a bit inaccurate. We allowed a right to response. The first thing I started with on the program was playing Mr. Vute's clip and allowed him at least 20 minutes in which he addressed the issues and the letter he wrote to the president where he was addressing Mr. Vute. Mr. Mliswa, do you feel you did not get an accurate time to respond about Mr. Vute?
Vute spoke about me being given 200 stands.
He spoke about you for 3 minutes.
No, but we did not talk about the stands.
Okay. So you can respond about
Thank you very much. I think let's focus on what I came here for.
And I asked you to do that. Okay. Thank you for your
He never at any given time gave me 200 stands, okay? And it was important for you to ask him how generous is he to contribute 200 stands for nothing. I work as a consultant. I've never had any government position whatsoever. The same thing as the Billy Rottenberg situation. It was out of my consultancy.